And good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of It's Calamel. And we're now at Titan TV, baby. How you doing? Out here just trying to make it pop. Yo, family tree, what's good? Um, I'm just doing a quick little update live stream, see what you guys are on. I've got my brother Gabs saying that we need to drop a nice little show for the family. So, family, you let me know if you guys want a show tonight. I'm really kind of chilled. I want to have an early night's sleep. So I don't even know if I want to do a show. So you guys gotta let me know, feed me in, let me know if you lot want to get it in with us tonight. I've been dropping a few videos in the last day or two, and I just see mad salty comments just been popping off. Everybody's a bit like, oh my gosh, and I'm like, yeah, I love it. I actually love pushing buttons and provoking people, and it's not because I actually want to get people. No, do I? No, actually, I do want to get people in their feelings secretly. I actually do. And not for the petty reasons. I actually want to get people in their feelings in terms of actually, pushing them out of their comfort zone and getting them to think and actually really reflect on the positions that they're holding. So it's awesome to see people, getting into their emotions. Hopefully they can make the next step. I should really, get, the 5 steps of grief type of thing. Some people go through the whole denial stage and no, no, no. But I'm just waiting for them to finally get to the stage of acceptance. Like, yeah, it's real. It's real. So what's good, man? We got Lemon Fresh in the building. We got Lily Kierville Logic in the building. Big Sapids in the building. My brother Ansar's in the building. Kiss is in the building. Adam Ali is in the building. Mirza the Fake Pagans in the building. Academic Screeching, but a Bing Infidel Biker and so forth. Everybody's here. Yes, Sherelle, Israelite. Yo, Titans. Oh man. Says Alpha Omega Professor is in the building. So yeah, man, everybody's here. So family tree, let me know if you guys Saeed says Kalam my G. Yo, family, and if my Shia brothers, real quickly, yeah. I was supposed to do like I wanted to do like a show earlier on to promote. I've got my brothers, Said Ali, Said Raz, I believe, brother Ryan from Australia. I don't know if I've missed anybody else out, but they're actually doing a show right now on the companions of yeah, they're doing a show on the companions basically. So if you are a Shia Muslim, if I can get you guys to just, like tune off me for a hot second and go over to Bayt Al Ghadir and go and, have a look, see what they're getting up to. So please go and support my Shia brothers. If you're Shia anyway, like everybody else, if you can as well, but definitely if you're Shia, please go over there, lend them your support, tune in, and give them some likes, and share it with other people. Even if you can't watch it, share it is the best way you can share it. Like me personally, I got a platform, so I'm not even sharing it on Facebook or Google or anything like that. I'm just simply telling everybody to go there and watch it right now. So yeah, Bayat El Khadir. So Bayat. Bayat. So Bayat, pledging allegiance, and then Al Ghadir. Okay, Bayat Al Ghadir. Okay, the Pledge of Al Ghadir. So yeah, there you go. My brother's just plugged it in. Go to that YouTube channel. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe to the channel, get your notifications in, and see what's good. Let's see. So yeah, man. Talk to me, fellows. Talk to me. Talk to me. What would you guys like to actually discuss this evening? Again, we've got Ramadan Mubarak to Marshall Mathers and the rest of my Akis up in the building. Ramadan Mubarak, indeed. So yeah, just let me know what you guys would like to discuss. This is Ali Dawa. Yeah, let me know what you guys would actually like to discuss, and then we can actually discuss it. If you got any questions, drop some questions in there for me. And also, I want to get Gabs in the building. Okay, Gab says he wants to come in and discuss something. I'm trying to just kick it easy tonight. I'm trying to get it easy. All right, I need to get to my bed early. Said says, Kalam, we are grateful to you for standing up to these Khawarij in the park. Give thanks, love. Kalam, how about you discuss the origins of Ramadan? Did you not see the video I did earlier on today? I did the origins of Ramadan. I don't know what else you want me to talk on. A topic: if the Quran is preserved or not. Um, yeah. See, that topic there will get me into a lot of trouble. Okay, that topic will get me into a lot of trouble. So the best thing I want to say is everything that is in the Quran now was in the Quran of the past. Okay, everything that was in the Quran now is in the Quran of the past, but there may have been more in the Quran. Okay, there may have been more that's just not didn't make the final cut. There may have been, according to certain reports. I'm not saying, I'm just saying there's certain reports you could find in the Sahih accounts, i.e. Sahih Bukhari accounts, Sahih Muslim accounts. You could even find it. I'm pretty sure there is some Shia accounts along those lines as well, that make the same claim. So Sunnis and Shias literally make the same claim. Okay, I'm not making it. I'm not trying to make the claim. I'm not trying to argue it. But what I'm saying is what you find in the Quran today is definitely what you find in the Quran. Not definitely, that's a lie. Most probably what you find in the past as well. There has been a lot of changes. Okay, there's been changes to the Quran, but it's still the same Quran-ish. Don't get me. Don't draw me into these types of conversations. Apparently, yeah, that's time ago. Mega True Talk. That's like months ago when he supposedly got attacked. Times TV. Kalam, have you watched two? I don't know. I think your to my Robinson speech at Oxford Uni. Too many or too much? I don't know. I'll try to answer it. I think I have watched the Oxford University speech. Yes, I have. I definitely have. Um, gang, gang, gang. Why? What do you think of Raj? Raj is cool, man. Raj is cool. What is the story of Abdul Hamid? Um, See, Abdul Hamid, yeah, he used to be a real cool dude. I still like. There's something about him, yeah, that I can't really hate about him. Like he's got like somehow he's got something that's a niceness about him. To be honest with you, he just makes very silly decisions at times, very silly decisions, and some he seems to be ruled by his emotions and the ideology that's circulating in his head and heart, and he just does silly things. But as a person, like he's not that bad, Like honestly, he's not that bad. But he like the thing that he done with Zayn, like come on, man. That was horrible. That was nasty. Like the stuff that he's done with what's his name? Sarah, like same thing. Like he just seems to do very nonsensical things, yeah, that causes a lot of harm and a lot of pain. And that's as much I'm gonna say, you know. Like I actually do wish him to just, I don't know, to just be better. That's as much as I can say about him. Callum, speak about ego, politics, and what's going on in the world. Okay, ego, politics, and what's good. That's like a massive like, okay, ego, where do I start? Politics, where do I start? Like it's you have to narrow things down for me. I haven't seen it yet, but in summary, do you think it has anything to do with paganisms as is claimed? Okay, so earlier on I made mention of the origins of Ramadan, just to give you a quick update or recap of it. So I basically said that there is, you know, the Islamic version of Ramadan. Okay, there's the Islamic version. So, the religion of Islam has created post the Prophet, Ramadan. And then there is the true origins of Ramadan, prior to the Prophet being a prophet, during the time he was a prophet, and so forth. Okay. So I kind of lay down that foundation. There is two types of Ramadan, right? Two types of Ramadan. There is the religion of Islam that was created after the death of the Prophet, and then there is Ramadan that was during the lifetime of the Prophet and prior his birth and existence. And that origin there, of course, these individuals in Jahiliyyah, they named their months Ramadan, right? They named their months Ramadan. So Ramadan literally comes from the word Ramaza or Ramiz or whatever the case is, okay? It literally means like, scorching hot sun basically, or burning the ground, or just like very hot basically, just comes from that word. All right. And I made mention of it, and I basically said that in the last video that Ramadan was during summer months. Okay, during the summer months, roughly in 610, it would have been roughly July August time period. Like that's the hottest months in Saudi Arabia, in Mecca. That is the time period. Okay, you have other months that is within inside of the calendar, such as Jumada. Okay, Jumada is like winter months. Okay, and then you have certain months which is spring months like Rabia, or autumn months, depending on how you look at it. So either spring or autumn, depending on how you look at it. So you have all of these things just letting you know that the months were based upon a solar calendar, or lunisolar calendar. But of course, after the birth and the rise of the religion of Islam, Umar kind of changed the calendar system around. And then now we have a lunar calendar in full force where Ramadan is drifting 11 days per year. Okay, so it's not sticking to the season that it was supposed to be in. So I made mention of that. I also made mention of other people, what was going on with certain individuals that practiced certain rituals during the month of Ramadan. I spoke on that a little bit, and I spoke upon the whole fasting concept, how it was newly introduced. Nobody used to fast during the month of Ramadan, especially those from the Hanafiya community. They never used to fast during that month. It was never a month of fasting. But later on, it developed into a month of fasting, based upon Muhammad's interaction with Jews in Medina and so forth. So the Jews in the Medina were fasting Ashura, which is basically Yom Kippur, and Ashura literally is the 10th day, basically. So they were fasting the 10th day. If you know your Bible, you know that the Jews were told to fast the 10th day of the seventh month, and to do other little practices and so forth. So Muhammad saw this, he said, like, yeah, boom, bang, like, we're Ahlul Kitab too. So let's fast during that month, during that time period that the Jews were fasting. So he done that fast, and then later on it developed into what you can fast, fast in a month, basically fast in a month. So the first one was just fast Ashura. Then it was developed into fast in the month, quite possibly Ramadan. But if you cannot fast, just feed poor people. Okay, just feed poor people. You can find all of this in Surah 2, 183 to 185. And then that verse kind of got abrogated and said, nope, instead of doing that, you have to fast the month of Ramadan. It's not even what's it called? Recommended or anything like that. It's now become fard. It's now become obligatory, basically. So then they now created the fast of the month of Ramadan. There's a whole inspiration or revelations put down to tell you to fast the month of Ramadan. So that's kind of how the fast developed during the month of Ramadan. It was never something that he did in the first 12, 13, 15, even 16 years of him being a prophet. It was never that. It just something came much later on. The Jews were fasting, the Christians were fasting, so therefore all of these communities have a time period of fasting. How about the Muslims? What's about your fast? What's your dedicated fast? And then of course, let's choose Ramadan because Ramadan was the time that your revelation came down, supposedly. So therefore, fast during that month according to Allah and according to the Quran, basically. There is a lot more I went through the video, but I think it's real redundant for me to just keep repeating it. What about the science of artificial intelligence? Man, like Megatron is in the building. What sources evidence inform that the Quran has been changed? Islamic scholars will tell you that the Quran has been changed. They'll tell you in terms of, for example, I made mention of this before, the basmala. Most people think that the basmala is part of the Quran. Okay, that's basmala. Basmala is like the short way form of saying Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Some people put that as it's a title, but they add it as a verse in the Quran. And other scholars within inside of the Islamic world literally tell you, no, this is not part of the Quran. This is something we added extra to distinguish between one surah from another surah, basically. So that's one little subtle change. I'm not going to tell you anything mad crazy like there's some major changes. I told you anything that you see in the Quran today is most probably what was in the Quran of back then. I'm not even going to try to do no mind efferys with you. I'm not going to do that with you, okay? There's loads of, how can I put it? What's the word? Spelling mistakes. Is it mistakes? Not mistakes. What's the word? Alternative spellings. So just let's just say Surat al-Fatiha. You have the word Malik and then you have the word Malik. Okay, these subtle little spelling changes obviously changes the meaning of the words. One means king, the other one means owner. So which one is it? Is Allah the owner of the day of recompense, or the owner of the day of judgment, or he's he the king of the day of judgment? Like, it's just subtle little changes that has very big differences, very major differences. It does have a lot of differences. There's all throughout the Quran, you'll find what are those things called? Those subtle spelling stuff, like, like little alif here, or little fataha or kasra or dhamma, or, whatever the case is. Like, there's these little intricacies that literally change the meaning. So yeah, there is little changes like that. There is. And of course, the order of the Quran has been changed as well. This is one of the major things that has been changed in the Quran, which I don't agree with. I always, and that's why I love, the Ahlul Bayt school of thought, because when I was growing up, I was taught that type of perspective. I was clearly taught that, yep, that order that you see the Quran in today, that's not the original order of the Quran. No way, it's not actually the original order of the Quran. And we learned the Quran from the chronological perspective of the Quran. Yeah. We learn it the chronological way rather than the way that it is in now, i.e., Surah Al Fatiha, Surah Al Baqarah, Surah Al Imran, Surah Al Nisa, Surah Al Maida, etc., etc. We didn't learn it that way. We learned it the proper chronological way, with the tafsir slash commentary slash interpretation of it. We learn it that way. We learn the mystical meanings behind the Quran. And that's why I just laugh sometimes when I hear people talking about certain things, because I'm like, you just expose how little you do know. But that's just me on a little side note. So it's me on a side note. I'm tired, I'm actually tired. I don't know, Gabs, if we should do the show tonight, because I actually just want to relax. I've got early start. Callum, but the video of Abdul Hamid in jail. No, Abdul Hamid is not in jail, not that I'm aware of. Callum, did you watch the Ahmed Ali video? I watched a little bit of it. I'm actually currently like 10 minutes in to it. Yeah, it's funny. Um, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Let's see. Ramadan 1 and Ramadan 2. Callum, what do you think about the UK splitting paths with Trump on nuclear deal? I haven't actually, you know what? Yeah, politics right now, I haven't been keeping up to date with, and the news like how I normally do. So please don't ask me anything like that right now. I don't know. Did you watch the Ahmed Ali video? 10 minutes of it. Yeah, I said. Was fasting in Islam copied from Christianity, Kalam? Um, I wouldn't say it was copied. It may have been inspired. Okay, it may have been inspired. So in the Quran, I think it talks about, I can't remember the revelation. That see, I'm too tired to be spitting forward. We spit Quran bars. It basically talks about, previous nations before you were giving the fast, so therefore you have been given the fast. That's kind of like, it's precedent basically. So it's alerting you to the fact that, people of the book already had their own fasts, and now you have your own fasts as well. So I don't think it was copied. I think it was more inspired by the fact. So, for example, you have, the adhan, or the call to prayer in Islam. That was inspired by the fact that the Jews and the Christians had their own call to prayer. So, for example, the Jews used the shofar, i.e., the woo, back in the day, and then the Christians used the bell, ding dong, and then they were like, okay, we need our own one, and all of a sudden, inspiration came to, various different individuals. There's a bit of a kerfuffle right now as to who received that inspiration, and then it became revelation type of vibe. And then the adhan, or the calling out to prayer, was now instituted. So it's kind of like the same vibe. Like there was something already going around, there was a need for it, and then suddenly speaking, asbab nazul, the reason for the revelation. Let's see, Megatron, you're not. Let's see. Do. Let's quickly get into. Let's see. Having a lunar calendar is lunacy. I love you, Nelson. All right. Terry. Okay. Ultra Funky. J Boogie. Ultra Funky. Let's see. Do. Oh, Cam, I love the way you critique Muslims as a Muslim. It makes me a better Muslim person. Salute to you, Saeed. I love that. Um, Let me see. Muslims of the. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Let me quickly get through this so I can actually contact my brother, Gabs, and see what he's saying. Do, 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 do. Kalam, you're just saying things with no evidence. I think personally, yeah, everything that I spit is evidence by itself. Like I think my credibility should be high right now. Where I think everybody that knows me, when I talk, I'm sourcing and citing and so forth. Right now, I'm just chilled. I'm chilled. Unless you're gonna pay me right now to bring out books and articles and journals and encyclopedias and things of that nature. Like, leave me the hell alone, bruv. Everything that I'm saying right now, yeah, you can just Google for yourself and find the information. I'm tired. I ain't gonna do your work for you right now, okay? So yeah, yeah. You know, everything that I spit is just straight facts. Come on, G, come on, G, come on, come on, come on. Let's see. Are we getting a show with Gabs? I want to. Yes, Kalam. Those are called different variations of citations. Ahruf, for example, the king or the owner are both correct. Allah is the king and the owner of the last day. No semantic differences. Half half, half half, half half. If I was to be very pedantic and say, like, to be a king, you come from the same genus as your subjects, okay? Technically speaking, like every king technically comes from people or humans, and usually they come from the same nation or same ethnic makeup, yeah, to be somebody's king. Usually, either same ethnic makeup or same nationality to be somebody's king, because you're now a subject. Other people is now your subject. So therefore, are we part of the same genus as Allah if He is our king? Do you see how that sounds? Do you see how that sounds? See how that sounds? Rather than the owner doesn't necessarily have to be genetically related. It's just someone that possesses something. So there is quite a difference. There is actually quite a difference, to be honest with you. Let's see. Let's see any other stuff that you lot got here. Um, Kalam, what do you think that Muslims who truly represent Islam to get their voices? Kalam, how do you think that Muslims who truly represent Islam to get their voices heard? Social media. Like, social media is a good way. Jump on your Instagrams, jump on your Facebooks, jump on your Twitters, jump on YouTube, whatever the case is. And reach out to other people that may have a sphere of influence, and try to collaborate with them, and your reach could get further. And then, of course, like in your personal day-to-day life, reach out to your family, your near of kin, reach out to, your place of employment, reach out to your community members, and, keep working to keep pushing forward, a real positive narrative. And hopefully other people will warm to it and like it. You had the Vatican invented Islam. No, the Vatican didn't invent Islam at all. No, the Vatican didn't invent Islam. There is, all right, okay. I've seen this claim like put out. It is a nonsense claim, but at the same time, there is some elements, yeah, which has a smidgen of truth to it in terms of Christianity was a influencer or a major influencer on the origins of Islam. Okay, it had a lot of impact and influence. If you really go back into history, this is something that's really like historical. Like, from a religious perspective, most people, Muslims will say no way, or Christians will say no way. But if you really look at it from a historical lens and see what was going on, what empires were in power that period of time, you know what I'm saying? So you have, of course, you got the Byzantium Empire, you've got the Sassanid Empire that was warring against each other. So this is like kind of like the Romans. Byzantium's like Romans, and then you have the Persians, who were warring against each other. And then you also had the Ethiopian and the Ethiopian Christianity that was ruling basically Arabia at the time. There was a lot of influences that was impacting during that time frame. A lot of influences that would have shaped the mind and shaped the environment of the time. But I don't even want to go too deep into that because people be like, oh, they're not ready for like real historical analysis. They're just used to, oh, just tell me religion. And then they get offended for telling you a truth that, anyways, I don't even want to offend nobody tonight, bruv. I'm just kind of be chilled. I want to be chilled. You wouldn't say Islam copied Gnostic Christians. So many Gnostic Christians in the Quran, bro. So many Gnostic Christians in the Quran. Okay, I'm not too sure. Yes, as I said, yeah, yeah. So yeah, Gnosticism definitely did influence Islam. Definitely did influence Islam. You know, from the time that you see, certain individuals jamming in caves, yeah, and receiving revelations and all these things here, yeah. Like all you have to do is go into Gnosticism or Gnostic Christianity, and you see exactly the same stories taking place. Like you can just see it, but that takes a mind that actually reads more than just, you know. I'm not even gonna speak no more because you're not gonna get me into trouble. Let me not speak no more. I'm trying to get through this real quick. How much we talking? I don't know. I don't know. Cool. I understand. Also, I might be late, but what happened with Black Dunya? I don't know. I didn't know something did happen. Callum, you look tired. Trust me, I'm tired. Y'all don't even know it. It's mostly always right. I cannot take anything on faith. It's a colossal pain in the butt. Ramadan Kareem Kalam. Yeah, Ramadan Kareem to you. Do you think okay, no, I said already. You're not called kind of for no reason. Tell him again, my brother. You think Islam has a connection with royal bloodlines? Of course it does. Of course it does. I think I don't know, man. I see you lot asking a lot of these questions. You lot, I don't know if you lot check back my old videos, but yeah, of course, man. Of course. I already told you. I know this was, I made mention of this the other day at Speaker's Corner, and like people were shocked by this. And I was like, come on, like you don't need to catch up on some of my old school videos. I think I did a video like something like Ethiopian origins of Islam or something along those lines there. And I basically showed you the bloodline of how, Muhammad's grandmother was of Ethiopian descent. She was royalty, and she was royalty. Some people say she's a Jew. Well, all Ethiopians or Habashas at that period in times, they were Ethiopian Jews or Ethiopian Christians at that period in time. Some of them were Ethiopian, pagans. But yeah, so she was somebody who was highly reputable, of repute, basically, and she was the sister of the Najashi. And of course, Abdul Muttalib, which was the son of her, and Hashim was, of course, of royal blood lineage as well. That's why he was able to get contracts with the Ethiopia. You always find, like, why is he always jamming with the Najashi or the Like, what's going on? What's all this Ethiopian connection going on about? Why is Abdul Muttalib sending, Muhammad's followers over to Ethiopia? Like, how does he have that connection? How do they have that connect? Like, You know, how are they able to communicate? How is he sending letters? Like, don't they speak different languages? You dig what I'm saying? Like, what is going on here? Like, they're actually jamming with the king. Anyways, there, like, it's like, yourself or my little old self, like, going over to Arabia now, and I'm jamming in the palace of the king or yes, yeah, yeah, the king, the Saudi prince and Saudi king's family. It's like, huh? How do you do that if you ain't got no serious connection? So, I made mention of all this long time ago. And if you really read the histories of Ethiopia and what was going on and the expansion of the empire, and you start reading things, books like the Kebra and the Gas, you'll see what was really taking place. Go read back some, church history books and find what was really going on. That's where you're going to find the truth about Islam. But again, I don't want to talk too much if I get myself into any trouble. What did these instances want to share? Law. Your videos taught me a lot this week, Kalam. Love, man. Marshall says here the Quran has to be revealed in different aruf, given the reason people at the very period of time spoke different varieties of Arabic. Yeah, so they say in it. So they say it's been, given in 7 different arufs or dialects. So they say. Why did Prophet Muhammad marry a 9-year old? Prophet Muhammad married a 9-year old according to certain hadiths, and that's if you take those hadiths seriously. My personal outlook, okay, is that he didn't, but so my personal outlook is that he didn't, obviously, but according to the Sunni Muslim narrative, he did. So a lot of Sunni Muslims won't even budge from that. Like their concept, like of course we have there's different versions of the Prophet Muhammad. So for example, I believe in the Shia hadiths, there is no such thing as Aisha being 9 years old in his marriage. Like, I'm pretty sure in the school, in the Maliki Muata, basically. So, if you go back in time, like the Medinan school of thought, like the people who was there at the time never said that Aisha was 9 years old. It was like, what the hell is that about? But then you have certain hadiths that's now creeped in and now has been, calcified with inside of the annals of Sunni history or Sunni literature, and Muslims are being influenced by this and think that yes, the Prophet did it, and if the Prophet did it, it must be right, and they just drop all types of logic to the side to be like, hold on, you're telling me a hardback 50-year-old man married a 9-year-old girl? Like, what would be the purpose of that? Like, there'll be no purpose. Like, it's even against like it's against the Quran to marry a girl, type of vibe. But they will say, nope, the Prophet did it because the Hadith said it, and they don't use their logic to be like, but what if the Hadith is wrong? No, the Hadith can't be wrong. It must be right. It's just madness. My personal thought on this is that this Hadith seems to have come about in as far as I'm seeing, looking at this analysis, it's come about by Aisha. It's funny though. This is so funny because like if they really like if Muslims like Sunni Muslims really use the criterias that they say they use, they wouldn't even take that hadith seriously. Like, you know, they usually say, "Oh, we need more than women's accounts, basically." Yeah, is worth half of that of a man, I believe. So whatever a man says in his testimony, we need 2 women to give testimony. Okay. And Aisha wasn't even a woman at the time of her betrothal or marriage to the Prophet. And it's only her one that's narrated in this hadith. Shouldn't there be a second person to, corroborate this actually transpired? As far as I've seen, nah, there isn't nothing like that. And then plus she's like 6 years old, 9 years old. Like, are you really gonna take the word of a 6-year-old or a 9-year-old telling you about a marriage? Like that don't make no sense to me. Yeah, again. And I'm like, but like, don't you use your criterias? And then they tell you about, oh, this person needs to be trustworthy. I'm not saying that Aisha was a liar or nothing, but there is various different times you could find in the Sunni hadiths, like she went mad contrary, bruv. She said some mad stuff. Yeah, some mad stuff. Even the Quran pulls her up as well. I'm like, okay, so if the person isn't a thicker, you know, that trustworthy. But of course, she's your mother, innit? But clearly the Quran is saying that she isn't that trustworthy. The Hadiths are saying that she isn't that trustworthy, but you're still going to take her account that she was 9 years old. And then it's some like fabulous story that's created that, the Prophet saw me in his dream. And you think to yourself, but why? The Prophet saw me in his dream. Like, it just seems like one of those ones you have to, you see she's boasting about it or trying to brag about it. Like, yeah, look, I'm not like the other women. The Prophet dreamt about me to substantiate his marriage with me. And you see that there was a rivalry going on between her and I believe Zainab. Okay, is it Zainab? I can't remember her name. It's not Zainab. It might be Zainab actually. Basically, it was Zaid, the Prophet's son or adopted son. His wife that he divorced because the Prophet fancied a liking to her, and he married her because of her revelation and so forth. So she was very beautiful. She was the beautifulest, one of the beautifulest. I think she was the most beautifulest wife that the Prophet had for a prolonged period of time, and she came from a very good tribe and so forth. And the Prophet really favored her. You'll find in the hadiths it's just between Aisha and Zainab, if that's the right person. Zainab bin Jash, I believe that's her name. Between those two, those are the two people that the Prophet really favored, and it really favored those two. And there was a rivalry between those two. But her boast was such a magnificent boast to say, you know what? The Prophet actually had a revelation about me, hence he married me. Okay? And it seems to me that Aisha just said, yeah, the Prophet had a revelation too. Not a proper revelation because it's not in the Quran, obviously, but he had a dream about me and he told me. He told me. He didn't tell nobody else, but he told me type of vibe. And you're like, mm-hmm. And then she trying to boast even more, like, yeah, all of you guys were, married prior, but I was a virgin. I was a virgin. I was a virgin type of vibe. I was fresh. I was young type of vibe. Just, it just seems that she was pulling one of these fast ones to humbly. I'm just saying this is my humble opinion. Like, don't crucify me. I'm not a Muslim where you need to crucify me like that. I'm just giving you my objective appraisal of what I've read and the scenario and the situation. Like, I'm just reading into it. I'm like, this seems a bit fishy right now. Like, imagine you're now telling me the Prophet dreamt about you when you was possibly 5 or 6 years old. 5 or 6 years old, and you was, covered in silk, and he's like, this story just doesn't sound, legit to me. It really doesn't sound legit to me. And this is, and he married you, like, for what purpose is he marrying you for? Like, you now have Khadija, who was like a big rascal out woman, yeah, like his wife, his bona fide woman, yeah, that did everything for him. She was rich as hell. She was the one. And then she dies, and then he wants to marry a 6 year old, 7 year old, 6 year old that can't actually. What can the 6 year old? He has to now. That's a burden on him. He now has to look after the 6 year old or the 9 year old rather than the 9 year old or 6 year old looking after him or treating him as an equal or whatever the case is. It just doesn't make no sense. It really doesn't make no sense. And you saw like the next wife he did marry afterwards was a woman called Sauda, black woman basically, and she was a very mature woman. She helped him. She did. She was a woman for him. He has daughters that needs looking at. Like she was a woman for him. But anyways, yeah. So the Aisha story just seems as a story that was made up by Aisha to brag and boast, and unfortunately, it just kind of spiraled out of control where people took that story for legit, even though the Quran tells you you need to marry a woman who's mature, like a woman rather than a small girl. It just doesn't make any sense. But regardless, I'm not even gonna go there. And I've always like, I'm open minded, so I've always looked for like the explanation. So, good Muslims, give me the explanation, like, because if you lot hold on to this so dear, yeah. I've always had one question, and it's always stumped them. I'm like, okay, name me one other person amongst the companions, the Sahabas, or the family, whatever the case is, that married a 6 year old or a 9 year old. If you think this is something, if this was part of the customs, if you think this was the norm of the society of big rascal hardback men marrying young girls, show me another person that married who was just roughly the same age group as the Prophet, marrying a young girl. I've waited a whole year for this. Yeah, because I'm not like everybody else that will call out mad names and one things there. Like, if you can prove it to me, then goddamn, this you proved it to me. But I'm like, up to now, I still haven't seen that evidence. And I said to myself, fam, don't you just think that this looks a bit mad to you, that you're actually accepting it because the hadith says it? Like, don't you? Where's your logic gone? Where's your mind gone? Like, sometimes you lot gotta use your minds. Like, some stuff doesn't make no sense. But anyways, yeah, sorry about that. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Is Time TV is the Kaaba in Mecca. There's loads of Kaabas all around Arabia, to be honest with you. The Kaaba in Mecca is just one Kaaba, but there's loads all over Arabia, all over. Do-do-do-do-do. Why are you so scared? Talk, talk, talk. Who are you scared of? Hussein Mohammed is what the hell? Scared of somebody? Like, I don't know who the hell you think you're talking to, but I ain't never scared. Say it once again. Anyone who hates on Kalam is an idiot. Kalam's heart is pure. Love, my brother. Ethiopia, the first Christian nation for the first century. Yep. No. Okay, I subscribed to you the other day, Eddie. All right. Salute to you. Haytham, okay. How do we know what year Islam was created? We don't. You actually don't know what year the Islam was created. You don't even know what year the Prophet was born, to be honest with you. And you see, all this stuff, that's a story for another day. I could do shows on this, but bruv, listen, you don't need to start going down to my Patreon, yeah, or go to the GoFundMe or something like that, yeah, and start donating. I swear, if you give me like £50 a show, hey, £50 a show, yeah, I'll break down some mad truths for you, mad truths, and you know me, I'll source everything. So if you want to know the year that Islam was created, I'll break that down for you. But I ain't got the time to be doing it like that. Let's see. Did no, like, it's funny enough, none of these wives had children for the prophet apart from Khadija and Miriam, the Egyptian woman. Could be a fabrication scam, just stayed. Yep. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Let me get to the end. Yeah, habibi. Shouts out to Raicha. Shouts out to you for the donations. If you throw Aisha under the bus for hadith, then over 1,000 hadith Sahih Bukhari goes under the bus. Hatun Tash. Yeah, pretty much so. As far as I've looked, like, if I was being objective, I can't really say that Aisha is a trustworthy source. Okay, I can't say she's a trustworthy source. But it's not to say that people who have told lies or have done things that are mischievous can't tell the truth. But if it's to your criteria, she isn't a trustworthy source. If I bring, like, this is all in Sahih collections, the things that she said, like, oh, say to the she was real mad jealous of some beautiful wife, like, real beautiful wife that the prophet had just married, and her and one of the other wives, was so jealous of her, said, you know what, basically, when you are on, the wedding night, the prophet, this is what he loves. Simply say, Auzu billah, yeah, to him, and he really loves it. And the woman said, Auzu billah, like, I seek refuge in Allah from you, basically. And the prophet said, okay, stay where you are, take back whatever you need. And he basically divorced her because she seeked refuge in Allah from him, because the prophet believed that there was a madness. This is all written in the hadiths. Like, you're like, oh, what the hell? She said what? And she tricked this woman. She literally deceived this woman into doing this, yeah. And this woman was crushed for the rest of her life because she was known as the woman that literally caused the prophet to divorce her. And it's like, whoa, you got these types of hadith that are sahih that Muslims know about. You're like, eh? And you really trust this woman? You got hadiths, you got the Quran. You know, what's that verse again? Is it 66:4? 66:4. you know, her and Hafsa is basically lying, on the prophet, lying on the prophet, to the fact that a revelation comes down and says, "Boy, if you lot don't stop from your, I don't want to say kufr, yeah, but if you lot don't stop from your madness, yeah, yeah, like the prophet will now call up, boy, the angels, Gabriel, Michael, them type of vibe there, like the Muslim, the faithful, everybody to go against you, like, like, so hold on. So this woman is clearly being caught lying and deceiving, but yet she's still held as somebody that is reputable because she is the wife of the prophet and because she's Abu Bakr's daughter. I don't know in it. I don't know. I'm not even I'm not cursing her or nothing like that. I'm just reading it objectively. I know you lot some like this is the stuff like I hate because Muslims are so some Muslims yeah are so like emotional that they can't take academic criticism. I'm just criticizing the text. I'm seeing what's going on, and this is what the text says about her. Can I speak on it? No, you cannot speak on it. That's our mother. All right, sorry. This is why I tried my very best to just walk on eggshells because you never know. I might start getting attacked for telling the truth. Shouts out to you guys who are sending me information right now watching the show. Unfortunately, because I'm on my phone, I can't really do much about it and read the stuff that you're dropping me. Pyramids, Callum did it. Just me. Hi from Hong Kong. Great show, Callum. Thank you. Callum, do you believe in the hellfire teaching actually comes from ancient Babylon? A lot of Near Eastern cultures have a concept of the hellfire a lot. Of course, Kemetic has one of the eldest concepts of the lake of fire, or yeah, the lake of fire, basically. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Let's see. Muhammad was a gold digger. That's why he married Khadija. No, actually, no. I don't think so. Okay, I know it sounds that way, but no. Khadija, like again, yeah. If you read the sources, you will see that there is not a conspiracy, but a, there isn't a well, there is a madness. If you read, yeah, it seems as though yeah, everybody knew something and was trying to get in with get involved with the the Hashemite blood lineage. They wanted to get involved. They knew something special was about to take place. Um, you know, but I'm not even gonna speak on it. I'm not even gonna speak on it. That's a show for another day. How long did it take for you to understand Islam the way that you do? Good question. Good question. I don't know. I don't know. I actually don't know. Sometimes remember reason Akal goes out the window. Yeah. I didn't just have okay. Let's see. I like atheist. Oh man, love for that, my brother. Do you really think for that donation? Thank you. Do you really think those were Aisha's words or the words of those around her, or if she was penetrated at 9, maybe she was unstable from the trauma, hence dodgy Aisha hadiths. Those hadiths could be circulated either by her or people saying it in the name of her. But I very much so doubt that she was penetrated at the age of 9. I doubt it highly. Very much so doubt it. And there isn't anything, I don't have any good reasons to actually, like, by analyzing the accounts, I don't have any good reasons to believe that she was penetrated at the age of 9 years old. I really don't. Do Okay, cool. Excellent. Can I jump on some Kemetic stuff now, real quickly? Was Muhammad a title for Jesus? These are some stuff that's been put up. I personally don't think so. But I haven't read enough on it to make a proper decision on it, but it seems highly unlikely. Okay. So yeah, let me just touch on a little bit of Kemetic stuff because people have been asked. Well, not people. There's some slanderous accusations or whatever the case is. So I would like to just address certain things pertaining to Kemet real quickly. yeah, I like to just address some stuff to do with Kemet. So, people talking about what's the word? Leaving food out for ancestors. Yeah, leaving food out for ancestors, or sacrifices to ancestors, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So, if it's possible, I'd like to just quickly address that. So now, in ancient Kemet, we had temples. Okay, our temple systems were more like municipal buildings, or administration buildings, basically. And there was a lot of symbolic rituals that took place within inside of those buildings, and inside of the mystery schools. And of course, people from the outside looking in, it's going to look mad weird. It's going to be looking like and they're going to come up with their own speculations and so forth. But I think it's a very good idea to actually address ancestral veneration, certain things that ancestral venerations that was done in ancient Kemet, and it still continues today in Africa. Okay, it still continues. So basically, in ancient Kemet, in our temple system, we used to do something called offerings. We used to do offerings or food offerings and so forth. Of course, we never actually had money in ancient Kemet. We never actually had a monetary or money system, so actual like coins or notes or whatever the case is. Our monetary value was to do with resources, was to do with grains and animals and so forth. This was our form of money, and what we used to do was give offerings to the netches or the divine principles or to the deities, and we also used to give offerings within inside of our temple system towards ancestors. These are the two things that we used to give offerings to. Okay, we actually used to do that. We actually used to give offerings. But now, what exactly these offerings? And when I hear people talking, I just think to myself, right, you lot are mad hypocritical. Like, you're going on like you don't give offerings to your deity, like, and what are you saying? When you give your offerings, does your ancestors eat the food? You're like, you think to yourself, like, huh? Does your ancestors eat the food? You think to yourself, what the hell are you talking about? Like what the hell are you talking about? How can any person who is not physical, doesn't have a physical body, eat something or drink something? It just doesn't make any sense. Like, you don't lose your mind. I got asked the question, does Allah or Yahweh eat food? Like, does he physically eat the food when you give your sacrifices? Or does he physically spend the money when you give it into your churches and stuff? It's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But they think they're being smart and cute. They think they're being cute, like, ha, 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 in saying those things. So, anyways, yeah, again, we dealt with divine principles. So when we give offerings to divine principles, we fully well know that there has to be a physical human person that consumes the food offerings. All right. And there has to be people that actually, benefit from it. Okay. So when we think of a divine principle, start thinking of institutes within inside of a society. So, for example, today we have in the UK, we have the NHS. We have the NHS. Okay. The NHS, the core principle behind the NHS is health. Okay. Health and well being. Health and well being. Okay. Health and well being. So, if we were going to, so health and well being. So, health and well being for us would be a divine principle. Okay. Health and well-being is a divine principle. Then you have something called the school system. Okay, you got the Department of what's it called? The Department of Education. You have the Department of Education in the UK as well. That Department of Education. This is, and the whole principle behind that is to nurture and facilitate truth and knowledge and wisdom. So that's that. Okay. And these principles, truth, health, wisdom, are divine principles, things that we value highly and things that we revere and things that we appreciate. And, everything else kind of comes from it. Everything that we create, we're creating around health. So when we give, so for example, these two principles or these principles that we're talking about now would be incorporated inside of the deity Jehuti. So some of you might know this, some of you might just go over your head. So we have a principle called Jehuti that represents, both health and represents education and wisdom. Okay. So now, when we give, for example, if I give now a food offering or something, an offering, if I was living back in the day, towards the deity or the divine principle of health and education, okay, I'm giving it to that divine principle, okay? But the divine principle of health is a word, it's a concept, it's an idea that only, exists type of vibe in the intellectual realm inside of your mind. Okay. So no matter how much food you give it, okay, or how much money you give it, a concept can't actually do nothing. It now needs what? It now needs a body to host itself. It now needs an organization or a building to produce the works it needs to produce. Okay. So when we give those offerings or we give that money towards that principle, we now know that there needs to be like a CEO, which would be considered to be a priest or a manager or something along those lines, that now embodies that principle and now creates an organization that is geared towards healing people, okay, or geared towards educating people. Okay, so when we're giving our offerings, we symbolically give it to the divine principle, but we fully well know that the actual physical thing is now consumed by human beings and the resources necessary to build buildings and tools and all that is necessary to facilitate health or to facilitate education. Okay, so that's when we give. So like I don't like. So sometimes it baffles me at times when people don't understand these things. It's like giving to the church, you're giving to God. Okay, but of course that offering that you're giving to the church is now going to the man of God, the preacher. The preacher now has a whole organization, has a whole physical church structure that money now gets filtered throughout. So everybody's give is paid for their job role. They can buy the resources that's necessary for the church to function. Okay, but of course this is all done in the name of God. It's all done in the name of God nowadays in church. The same thing used to happen back in the day in Kemet. It was given in the name of health, it was given in the name of education, and everything else was created and constructed from that onwards. Okay, secondly to that, we have the ancestors. Okay, we used to give offerings to the ancestors, those people who had passed away. All right. And again, it's symbolic. Okay. We fully well know that these ancestors are not physically here as how they used to be. Okay. But their impact, okay, now deserves an honor. Okay. Because you worked in the name of health, because you worked in the name of education, you should now be honored to be receiving these offerings. Okay. And of course, you are not here, but guess what? You, in the sense of your progeny, and you, in the sense of your will or whatever you want to get done on this earth, is now receiving that money. So it's kind of like a pension fund, okay? A pension fund that is living on after you have died through whatever you willed for it. Okay, so it will go through to your progeny. Your progeny will now receive the food or the money that's necessary based upon whatever greatness that you did in your life. If you now, he was so effective, he was an effective ancestor, you've now created keyhole surgery. Okay, you've now created keyhole surgery. We are going to honor you for that. We're going to build you a nice statue so everybody knows that you was the person that created keyhole surgery. Okay, we're now gonna revere your works on keyhole surgery. If anybody wants to learn about keyhole surgery, they need to go to your manual of keyhole surgery. They now need to pay money forward for them to have the education that you had in that field. You dig what I'm saying? All right. And that money is, of course, filtered throughout whatever you willed for that money to be done with. Okay. And of course, anything that's left over, guess where that food goes to? Guess where that food goes to? It goes back into the community, it goes towards the people. Anything that's, it increased or, the fat of it now goes to people who are poor in the community. Okay. So if you ain't got no bread, you ain't got no food, guess what? In the name of my ancestor, in the name of my grandfather, I give you this food. You dig what I'm saying? So even though I'm not here physically, my works or my deeds and the things that I accumulated in my life is still living on after I have passed away. So even after I passed away, I'm still giving and I'm still benefiting a community after I'm dead. So that is the whole concept of giving to deities and giving to ancestors in a realistic term. All right. And of course, these practices still continue today in Africa. It still continues today in Africa. Sometimes we have lost our we may have lost our temple system, but the same idea and same concept still lives on. Just like the whole prayer system was something that was done inside of temples. If you could ask Jews this, their whole prayer system is something that they did in temples, but nowadays they just do it at home rather than doing the whole rituals. But hopefully that kind of gives you some insight for those people. Be like, oh, but you give food offerings to your ancestors. Yeah, yeah, we do. We do. We still do this even up to this day in the UK. Yeah, even up to this day. I'm pretty sure, like, people's families are still benefiting from the great works that they have done. They've created trust funds, yeah, that's still receiving money and still paying money forward, like the Prince's Trust and so forth, even after he passes away, or the Nobel Peace Prize, even after he passes away, people are still getting awards in this person's name. So they're still benefiting the community after they have passed away. Like, it's so simple. It's like real simple stuff, but because people are drowned in religion and spookism, their mind goes like way elsewhere. But you know, I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna stop there. But if you got any questions, let me know. Shrines, tombs, and museums are built for the righteous in the Muslim world. Their progeny is honored, and food is made for the poor. There you go. Like, it's the same thing that happens in Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and so forth. But people, like, it's this is why, yeah, we don't talk. We call these things like spiritual stuff, or things that are the unseen stuff. We don't tend to talk about these things in public because we know we have some very base dumbass individuals here that have a spooked out mentality that will create a whole fairy tale and try to tar us with some craziness. But yeah, let me see. Any other things? Times TV, love the COE first year anniversary video. You personified what is great about Speaker's Corner. Thank you. Love, man. Yeah, man. That was a beautiful video. Still beautiful time. And it was mad funny, it was mad funny. I was there giving out Brother Maku, shouts out to Brother Maku. He had some food, gave it to me, and I was giving it out to everybody else, yeah. And there was enough Muslims that was taking it. I only got like a little breakout little piece from, it looked so nice. It was beautiful. And I was like, okay, okay. I'm looking at everybody eating it like, yeah. But none of you lot ask if this was made out of pork. You lot just eating it like willy nilly. This is this halal? And you lot eating it. And we're just catching jokes, bro. It was just funny. Funny. I didn't see nobody say Bismillah over their food, yeah. My Muslim community. I didn't see none of my Christians say, thank you, good Lord Jesus. They're just eating at the food. I was like, you lot are funny, man. You lot are funny. But this is real stuff, man. Like, and that's why I love food, yeah. In Kemet, we have a word, we have different words for peace, okay? We do have the word salam for peace, and we also have the word hotep for peace. But we usually use the word hotep for peace because it has a different connotation rather than salam. Salam has more of a connotation of I am submitting to somebody. I'm being peaceful, but submitting in peace to you, or I'm suing peace towards you. I'm entreating you for peace. But we have another word which is hotep, and that version of peace is literally, you know, you're offering something to other people. You're offering your heart and your mind to another person. You're offering your resources to another person. You're literally, if you see the symbol, you usually have like a stool, you have a mat, and you have a bread, and you have a drink next to it. Okay, and that kind of spells out the word peace or hotep to somebody. So when we offer hotep or peace to somebody, like we go there and we give you food and drink, that's gonna make sure that your hotep peace, you're satisfied. Hotep also means to be satisfied, to be content, right? So we make sure that everybody who is around us is satisfied and content by giving all that we have to offer to the person. And that was just a beautiful demonstration of Hotep. A lot of people, Assalamu alaikum, and, Shalom, Shalom, and we're preaching this, we're preaching that, but is your actions and your hearts truly in line with it? And we've got some beautiful brothers whose hearts are truly in line with it, and I love seeing, my Muslim brothers who are truly in line with it, my Jewish brothers, my Hebrew brothers who truly know the meaning of peace, and they give it to you regardless of whatever. So salute to all you brothers who know the meaning of peace. Let me see. Do. Salute to you, Rasul Ali, for donating. Give thanks, man. You lot are showing me that love. Who is the poet who had opposing poets killed for the satirical poems about him? Oh, okay. I see what you did there. I'm gonna say I don't know though, but I see what you did there. Kalam, why do you continue to say Islam is peaceful when it's not? Islam is a concept, and Islam can never be peaceful or non-peaceful. Yeah, it's just a concept. You need people now to enact Islam, if that makes any sense. And you have got peaceful brothers who understand the true understanding or meaning of what Islam is supposed to be, and it is peaceful. But then you have some delinquents that don't, and they are the worst of people. So that's why I say some Muslims in, are peaceful and some Muslims are not peaceful. And I always try to, applaud those Muslims who are. What's another thing as well to do with Kemet that I hear a lot of people talking about? Okay, yeah, let me say another thing as well, actually, because, there is this whole concept of communication with the ancestors. Communication with the ancestors. Oh my, see, I've been on here for so long. Gab's like, send me the link. Yo, okay, Gabs, give me a second. Yeah, I'm gonna log off here in a minute so I can just open up a show for you. Bear with me, yeah. Nestle, pure life water. The only drink that Titans drink. Oh yeah. Still trying to get that sponsor, baby. Still trying to get that sponsor. All right. But it seems as though you guys are sponsoring me all the way through. Salute to you guys for showing me the love. Let me just shout you out. Let me go back to the name. That's Beach Comber 95. Salute to you guys who are thoroughly hitting up the super chat button. I can't do these shows without you guys. Thank you. So what was I saying? Okay, yeah, something else that okay, communication with ancestors. I see Sarah talking about. I actually spoke to Sarah about this today because he says it's a delusion, it's a delusion, it's a delusion, and I say it's not a delusion. I wouldn't address it as a delusion. I know definitely what he's talking about, but it's more of a illusion. Okay, so for actually, can I? Okay, again, usually I don't talk about spiritual sciences within inside of these conversations because it's like you need to be initiated and learn. You need to learn and actually experience it yourself, like for you to understand what it's about. Because you can't when it's spiritual or esoterical, i.e., dealing with your psychology and character building. It's not something that somebody can tell you what it is or how it is and so forth. You could only experience it yourself. Anyways, there's like giving birth to a child. Like nobody can tell you what giving birth to a child truly feels like or is like, or being a mother or being a father. Nobody could tell you what that is like, or that feeling or that sensation. Nobody can teach you that. You kind of got to go through it yourself, type of vibe. Okay. So yeah, same thing with the spiritual sciences. But I'm going to go through some of the spiritual sciences that, in my school, mystery schools, that I've been a part of. Like, we learn certain things. I'm going to try to make it as, how can I put it, palatable, and cut off all the jargons and kind of make it like, real easy to understand for like an English listening ear. So basically, when we go into our sacred space, or our shrine, or our shrine room, or our temple, whatever the case is, we have our own sacred space that we construct, wherever we are. It should be in your house or wherever you can do. You construct a sacred space. So, for example, in your house, you may have a kitchen, and that space is used for creating food, right? And eating food, or dining room, eating food. You have a toilet or bathroom, that is for, relieving yourself. Bathroom, that's for, cleansing yourself and purifying yourself. So also, we also there is something inside of us called our spiritual side, or our psychological side, or our esoterical side, or the inner man, or whatever the case you want to call it. And we should really dedicate a space within inside of our house that deals with, the inner you. The inner you, not the physical you, but the inner you. We tend to call that inner you the spiritual you, but yet again, that's just jargon, because, we're really talking about that which is not seen, or that which is not physical. We're talking about the internal you. Really and truly, that should be called the psychological you. That's what it really should be called, I think. So, anyways, now, once you have your sacred space in your house, you go through, certain rituals that you can do. But let's just say you go through a process of placing your mind into a certain wavelength. Okay. This is like meditation. You can place yourself into a certain wavelength. You can drop yourself down into, from the beta zone into the alpha zone, even deeper down into that, the theta zone, where you're now in contact with your subconscious. Like, you're on a higher level or higher plane of, consciousness. And technically speaking, what we do, yeah, is create a how do I call it? You know, I saw Sherlock used one of the best words ever. Your mind palace, or your mental palace, basically. You create a mental palace. Technically speaking, we create a mental temple, but a mental palace, we create that basically. We create a mental palace, a safety zone that we can go, like a sweet spot that we go into. All right. This is all done in your mind. It's all done in your mind. And before we do it, yeah, we say, yeah, like I fully well know that this is the place of illusions. Okay? This is the place of illusions, right? It's a place of illusions. What we mean by the place of illusions is we're not in the physical world. Like this, like everything that we're seeing is everything that's going on inside of our minds, or our imagination, or recalling memories and so forth. It is all illusionary. I don't want to say hallucinatory, but it's all illusionary. It's not something that's physically there. So we fully well grasp it. Okay, we fully well grasp it. That is everything is illusionary, and we create everything around us. Like, we create, you know if it's the water, if it's the lake, if it's the temple walls, if it's the pillars, if it's, the people that's there. Everything is something that we create in our own mind. From the people that have their own characteristics and so forth. We create it all, and we understand that it's an illusion. And I'm just saying, from my own spiritual school, I'm not speaking about everybody else's spiritual schools. We know it's an illusion. So if we, have an ancestor in mind, and we have created, a good book actually to learn more about this, that is secular, is Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. That's a very good book. Shouts out to everybody who's got the book Think and Grow Rich. I'm pretty sure he's got a chapter near the end, like 11th or 12th chapter, that talks about your mastermind group. But it's after the mastermind group, I think it's like your heroes, basically. And you kind of embody your heroes. You place your heroes in there, and those heroes, or those individuals, will now feed you information. And we fully well understand it's our own psyche, or our own mind, that we've constructed these things, are now feeding us back information. We fully well, hopefully, in my school of thought, you fully well understand that. Okay. But at the same time, at the same time, if somebody wants to believe, yeah, believe that it is actually, their ancestors speaking from the beyond, I can't knock anybody because it can possibly be that. It can possibly be that because the revelations that you can get back from these individuals, like you're thinking, hold on, although I am fully well know I am creating this scenario, like I don't talk like this, I don't think like this, and I'm receiving this extra information. And I don't know. I'm receiving dreams now of, ancestors and so forth. I don't know. I'm not saying that I've ever experienced that, dreaming of ancestors and so forth. As I've said before in prior videos, I don't deal with ancestral communication on that level of speaking or communicating with ancestors simply because none of my ancestors within inside of my actual living family that I am aware of has passed away. All my family live up to the ages of 90 and 100, so they're just living, bruv. They're just living right now. So I don't have no ancestors to speak to, unfortunately. Okay, unfortunately, that I was cognizant of. I don't have no ancestors like that. So I don't communicate with ancestors, but I can fully well understand, that people have got these individuals in their minds, in their illusionary part of their mind, that can actually be very real and can give them real, information that can benefit them. But at the same time, I think everybody should realize this is all illusionary. You can only get hold of these individuals inside of meditations. You can only get hold of these individuals via visionary states, and you can only get hold of these individuals via dreams. And every single culture has always practiced this. Every single culture has always practiced this. If you want to go into the Bible, you see the visions of Moses and Elijah on the mountains. You have the Quran, you have the Mirage, and all these different things where you see Moses and Isa and all of these people, and all these things here are happening in the mind or the spiritual faculty of the human being. So, that's just me talking on ancestral communication. For me, it's all illusionary. Like somebody here who deals with that, you look and say, Kalam, you're wrong, and give me your reasons. I'm just speaking from my own personal school of thought. We conceptualize it all as being illusionary, and we conceptualize it as our own psyche, you know get in contact with our subconscious mind, and we can get in contact with your subconscious mind. Like, for example, you may have a teacher like way back in the day, yeah, like you may not remember them right now in the physical world, like you may not remember them, but if you delve really deep into your subconscious mind, you might just be able to pull up that teacher into the forefront of your mind, and they might have all these little excuse me. They might speak mad difficult and different, like, and there's certain, like, intricacies and nuances about them that you can now pull up. And because they were such a good teacher and you used to ask them loads of questions back in the day, your subconscious mind kind of picks up how that person's thought pattern might work, and you could ask them a question and your subconscious mind could now jump into that person's mind and give you a response back. That's your subconscious mind talking back to you rather than anything else. And that's the way I've kind of understood ancestral communication from a scientific perspective. All right, I'm talking from a science because I dealt with spiritual science. Some people deal with straight spirituality, and they will tell you something completely different to what I'm saying. But we dealt with mysticism or spiritual sciences. So we try to understand it from, a psychological standpoint of how these illusions or hallucinations or your subconscious mind works and how it can offer you ideas and information. So, again, I'm just telling you from my school of thought, but if you've got another understanding, give it to me, family. Give it to me. My dad was an atheist until he was transfigured by seeing his dad life after death. Then he became a believer. Yeah, man. See, those are the spiritual things that can make you into a believer. I deal with spiritual science, yeah. So I have seen, very weird, what almost supernatural things in my life, and I've always said I like it, but nah. And that's just me being, almost atheistic in my perspective. Like, I need to know the naturalistic explanation for that. You know, did I eat too much cheese? Like, you know, the ways that I need to know. Like, I always discount those things, and I know it's bad, it's wrong. I remember speaking to Bob the Builder about this, and he says, no matter what will happen, you will never believe it. I'm like, yeah, you're right, you know, because I hold on to the natural laws of nature, and if you know something can't transcend the natural in my perspective, and I always try to intellectualize it and make it make sense. But yeah, yeah, so that's the difference between spirituality and spiritual science. You know, a person could have a spiritual experience, and that's it. And then a spiritual scientist will have a spiritual experience, but tries to deduce or tries to experiment and see if they can reproduce that same experience again and again and again and again and again. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. So I like to know that I can do this. It's repeatable, that it's really real. I'm not simply hallucinating or what Sarah would say, or being delusional. I want to know this is really happening to me. Doo-doo-doo-doo. I say, this energy you have, give it to me. Kalam, are these rituals from Kemet close compared to a I guess you're saying Abraham rituals? Um, yeah, technically, it could be, but because we don't see Abrahamic rituals really being performed like in its raw, natural way, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you. Have you ever seen a spirit stand in front of you, Callum? I'm gonna try to avoid certain questions. You know, that's gonna lead down a rabbit hole. I made a claim that all children of the book maintain some form of communication with ancestors. Yeah. Can anybody in the chat tell me what language do our ancestors speak? Yeah, good question. What language? That's why we call it. We don't call it speaking. We call it communication. You know, ancestral communication. Because I'm pretty sure in your dreams, like for example, when you're dreaming, are you speaking? Like, have you ever clocked? Like, are you actually speaking? Like, I always try to clock. Like, am I speaking in my dream or am I simply communicating in my dream? I can never tell. Legend has it, Callum is Chuck Norris. God damn. Our spiritual mystic schools also we have similar practices. For example, concentrating your mental energy to particular personalities, i.e., ancestors, and receiving teachings from them. Yeah, buddy. There you go. Um, how do you explain people speaking in tongues? I don't want to go down that route. We call it the imaginal realm. Ooh, I like that. Alam al Khayal. This links to food offerings as it is believed to make you closer to the individuals you want to gain contact with. Yeah, yep. Let's see. What a kind of what you think of Marabout? I don't know what Marabout is. When my four-story house and 30-foot hallways were filled with ectoplasm, it was quite happening. Yeah, see, I know a lot of people have had these grand spiritual experiences. Um, I would love to be there and just like be a scientist and kind of just see, can this happen again? And how do we get in contact with this? Um, Man said, tell ancestors make me £1 million. You know? Um, okay, cool. So you know what? I don't even know if I'm going to do a live stream now, you know, because I've just gone like a whole hour and 23 minutes on the live stream here with you guys. But yeah, if you guys got any yeah, if you got any questions, please like I'm gonna shut this down in at half past. So we've got like 6 minutes or 7 minutes worth of questions. 6 minutes worth of questions. So if you got any questions or things that you wanna hear or know, tag Titans TV, ask away, and I'll try my very best. Are you familiar with Sam Harris? Please watch Sam Harris versus Deepak Chopra. All right, I will. Oh, I'll try, should I say? Why do you always start the live streams late? Now we've been going on for time. Time, baby. Time. Yeah, no. Gabs is on me. Gabs is actually on me. Hold on. Let me actually start a live stream. Give me a second, family. This is all mad. It's all crazy in the dunya. Okay, I will. I will. Let's see. Have you not hit the like button already? That's what I would like to know. We've got mad amounts of people tuned in right now, but I want to know, have you not hit the like button? Yeah. Okay. Live streaming. What do you think of the being in the Holy Land? I don't know. I don't, I hardly follow TV, let alone the Eurovision, to be honest with you. So I don't know. I really don't know. Lawrence Krauss is my favorite current atheist debater. Yeah, I'm feeling Lawrence Krauss still. Feeling so much I actually had to go and buy his books. I'm just gonna call this show Gabs Goes In. Gabs, who said that men can't multitask? Don't speak too soon. See, I can't actually multitask. I spoke way too soon. I've had an out of body experience. Oh, have you ever had an out of body experience? Yep, I have. Kalam doing damage control for Sarah? Nah, not at all. I don't need to do no damage control for Sarah. Sarah is his own man, and he knows he does his thing. He does his thing, B. Come on. Let me hit the go live now button. Oh, sugar. No, I shouldn't have hit the go live now button. I need to change this around. Ultra low. Cancel that. Yeah, ultra low. Is it changed? Nope, ultra low latency. I'm creating another show, family, so I can get my brother Gabs in the building with us. Have you read the book of the book by Idris Shah? No, I haven't. So can the ability to create exist by itself? All right. So Sunny Dao wants to try to do his smart ones. If you want me to show you guys up, I will. It's not a difficult issue. So it says, yeah. So can the ability to create exist by itself? So it's not the real thing is he was talking about energy. Energy is, what was it again? The capacity or the ability to do work, basically. So does the ability to do work exist by itself? Now, it's a very flawed question, but the real thing is, does the ability to do work exist? Yes, the ability to do work, i.e. energy, does exist. Okay? The ability to do work or energy does exist. Is that plain and simple? Yes, it does. Okay? It doesn't fit into your false paradigm of what you were saying before of knowledge or what Shamsi was saying before. It was just a bunch of nonsense that he was spewing out. But yes, energy does exist, and when you say does it exist by itself, it's like what type of grammar are you actually spitting? Like it doesn't make, what you're saying doesn't actually make sense. Okay, so yes, energy is in existence. Okay, energy is the ability, capacity to do work. It's potentiality. Okay, and that has always existed. Okay, it's never been created. Did you know that energy has never been created, nor will it ever be destroyed? Kind of like God, right? And imagine if God moves, okay, he now has energy. For him to create something, he now must possess energy or be composed of energy because he now has the ability to do work. You dig what I'm saying? So, like some stuff that you guys say, you don't even want that to fall back on you. And if I was to be really critical of all the stuff that you're saying, if you claim that Allah actually moves, then in order for somebody to move, they must move into another space. Okay, you must be in space A to move to space B. Okay, space A, space B, space A, space B. And guess what? In order to move in space A and space B, okay, space A and space B must now be larger than you because you must be able to fill the space and be able to move inside of the space. So is the space that is surrounding Allah bigger than Allah? So is Allah really Allahu Akbar? Is Allah really the greatest or the biggest? Because clearly the space that he's moving in is greater than him. You dig? All right. And if Allah is the only thing that's in existence and he moves, is he now moving into a space that didn't have his space before? So is he really the only thing in existence? Because clearly the space that he's moving into now exists alongside with him. And when he moves from one space to another space, okay, is the other space now devoid of Allah? Mm-mm-mm. Like, trust me, you don't even want to mess around with me, B. And then now that Allah moves, what is the causation of his moving? Is it him that is causing him to move, or is there an exterior force that's causing him to move? Clearly, there is a space that is larger than him. So is he now being impacted by something else that's causing him to move, or is that movement really coming inertly from inside of him that's causing him to move? That's the question. That's the question, right? That's the question. All right. And if Allah created the heavens and the earth 50,000 years, you know, the ways there, like, does Allah have a time space, a time span that he now has, does he now have a time frame? Does Allah have a time frame? And if he has a time frame, in order for you to have time, you must now have movement, but not of movement of just one thing. You must have movement of more than one things, i.e., two things. Because if there is clearly just space and there is movement just inside of space, one thing moving from the next thing, or just one person, if you're just moving inside of an empty vastness of space and you're just moving, there's no way you can tell time. You dig? There's no way you can tell time. All right, just imagine like a blank room, just white, and you're just moving along. There's no way you can tell time. You now need, i.e., a light source, an object, and something moving. So that light source moving and the object now creating a shadow, or that object moving along the light source to create something. And you need a conscious mind to exist to watch the movement of the object versus the secondary object. So if you're saying that Allah has a time span and a time frame because he done it 50,000 years before he created, what was Allah's time space and time frame? And if he has a time space and a time frame, he must now have other things alongside of him that are grander than him or even equal as him that are now moving or being stagnant with him in order for him to have a time frame. You dig? You dig? Did you dig that? Did you get that? So if you want to play games, my friend, Abi, you're not on that level there to be trying to come to me and do the nonsense. Ha! You're not on that level. Trust me on that one. You're not on that level. Oh man. Don't want to baffle your brain too much. Let's see. Um I know. Gabs, give me a second. Are you sure? Is this what you're saying to Anwar on the phone? Think about it carefully. My brother, you can't fake dab me, G. You can't fake dab me, bruv. You know me, bruv. I stand by every single word I say. So there ain't nothing that you can say to me, bruv, that I'm not gonna be like, yep, I said that ish. You dig? Natural theology. What the hell has this got to do with the fact that you guys claim that ability alone created the universe? Huh? I didn't make no claims. Number one, you both agreed and confirmed that an attribute doesn't exist on its own. Huh? Show me where I confirmed that an attribute doesn't exist on its own. And even though I know that an attribute doesn't alone exist on its own, like, but show me when I confirmed that though, in that video. You can't. Just answer the reality. What do you think, aliens? Kalam, admit what you admitted on the phone. Bruv, you lot talk so much crud. Um, let's see. Okay, let me quickly get the thing will be on here. Kalam, didn't you say to Anwar that Kemet is just a myth on the phone? My lords, my brother, man, my brother. I think I think when you're free, yeah, like instead of doing these ones, come on to Titans TV and actually have a discussion. You know, actually have a discussion. All right, actually have a discussion. Everything that I just said to you was nothing to do with mythology. Okay, the stuff that we was talking prior, okay, which is to do with the primordial waters and Nun and Atum Ra and calling things forth into existence and so forth. Why is this not going live? That is mythology. Of course, it's mythology. I've said it so many times on my show before. That's mythology. It's not actual facts. It's not reality. But mythology, we use mythologies to tell universal truths. Okay, I'm pretty sure I talked about fables before, like Aesop's, what's it called, Aesop's stories or fables, and we have like tortoise and the hare and the fox story and so forth. Nobody takes those. Nobody listens to those stories to be like, yeah, this is we're learning. Like we really believe that dated. Okay, but I'm tired, so I don't want to come off like rude to you, my brother. I don't want to. I've just been up way too long. So apologies if I'm coming across rude. But sometimes when I hear redundant stuff, it's like, oh. Okay, Gabs, I've just sent you an invite now. I've created another show. So yeah, family, I might just carry on going a little bit longer. Okay, Keller makes the first fallacy of resembling the creation to Allah. No, I don't make that fallacy at all. I don't make the fallacy. I think you lot fail to understand what Allah is, again, you lot fail to understand what Allah is saying in the Quran. Allah Himself resembles Himself to the creation. That's what He does. Okay, He resembles Himself to the creation. He simply doesn't equate Himself with the creation. That's where you lot are going mad chaotic, because you lot would claim, yes, Allah has mercy, humans have mercy. Allah has knowledge, humans have knowledge. So therefore, Allah, and we can continue and continue and continue. Clearly, Allah does resemble the creation. The only difference is with the the kuf, the what's the word, kafi? No, the kafa. What's the word? Kuf one. Yeah. Anyways, that word KFW, anyways, it's too late right now. That word there denotes equation, or equitable, meaning to be equal with something. Okay, Allah is not equal with things. He may resemble things, okay, or may be likened to its creation, but he is not equal to his creation. And that's where most Wahhabis or Salafists is falling short, because they don't understand that very doctrine. And they will say, yeah, yeah, no, 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 Allah is far removed, but da 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 da. And you're like, hold on, but he has all the attributes that humans have. So how can you tell me he's not like his creation? Because you're now mixing up, or you're now, doing a false semantic, you're not playing semantics. So the word that you're using for like in Arabic, okay, you're equating it to being it's a long one. I haven't got the time. I'm too tired right now to even explain it to you. Too tired to explain it to you. Okay. Kalam create God. Yep, 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 yep. Kalam, can you answer me, please? Why are so many Muslims becoming Muslims in Speaker's Corner? Seems like no one is buying your stuff. I don't know if they are becoming Muslims. And we have to ask, like, we have to really look at them and see, are they better off? Like, for example, if we look at Zachariah, fair enough, you're now a Muslim, but are you better off than what you were before? It doesn't look like it. And then we will also have to ask, like, these people who convert, how long do they stick to their Islam, like, type of vibe? You know, you mean like a collection of Muslims, especially one belonging to a particular religious or cultural tradition? Okay. Anyways, yo, Gabs, what are you saying, G? Are you ready to go live? Can you hear me? Yeah, you can hear me.
Yeah, buddy.
Let me know if you're ready to go live, you know?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, I'm here, man. I'm here. I'm here. I hope Sunny Dow and them guys are still there. They still there?
Yeah, I believe so. Sunny Dow, are you still in the chat? Let me know, because I'm about to start a new live stream. What are you saying? Kemetic philosophy is a myth? No, Kemetic philosophy is not a myth. Okay, philosophy is never a myth. With inside of the Kemetic philosophy, there is mythology that's utilized to educate people. Okay. Let's see. Islamicize me at Speaker's Corner. They don't build jet planes. All right, family. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna say to you guys. Right now, I'm actually gonna start a new live stream. Okay. So what I need you guys to do is go onto Titans TV and check out the new live stream, and we're going live literally now with with what's my brother's name? With Gabs, okay? So Sunny Dawa, yeah, come on. I welcome you to come on or post up some questions or just call me. I don't need to put your voice on, just call me and then I can just reverberate your questions that you have to Gabs or myself and I'll get him to answer. All right, so what I'm going to do now is close down this show. Family, you should be able to see it. If you go onto my channel, you should see like a new show scheduled. I'm going to hit the live button right now and we're going to go in. All right, let's see. Can I start broadcasting whilst I'm on this broadcast? That'll be sick. Yeah, I can. Oh, man. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Titans TV. Yeah, we're live right now with the main man, Gabs, in the building. Yo, Gabs, say hello to the family real quickly.
What's happening, family? What's happening? What's happening? Peace, peace, peace. Peace to everyone in the chat room,
All right, so we got over 200 people on another live stream right now watching this, and I'm trying to get them to go over to the new live stream. Okay, so family, can you go over to the new live stream? I'm actually going to share my screen. Oh, I got like a couple shows that's scheduled here. It's got a couple shows that's scheduled as Gabs goes in. Let's just quickly see if nope. All right. So if you look and go and try to find Gabs goes in on YouTube, all right, family, let me know if you're in the building. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Yep. All right, so we've got 42 people tuned in right now, okay? So family, let me just quickly change my thing around. All right, so we've got 42 people tuned in right now, okay? So family, let me just quickly change my thing around. All right, so we've got 40. Here you go. All right, family. So like, as you can see right now, we've got everybody here. So all I need you guys to do right now is to log off the one that you're on or you were on and go and tune into this one. So I'm going offline right now. Log in to this one. Okay, before you log off, hit the like button, family, and log in to this new one. Gabs goes in where the Titans TV black screen is on. And let's get it. Gabs, take over now.
Peace,